The distinction between private equity and venture capital. I think venture capital, that's the term that everyone latches onto. That seems to be the sexy part. You think of Silicon Valley in the US and technological innovation. In South Africa, there definitely is a great deal of innovation, a great deal of entrepreneurial spirit in South Africa. These would be the smaller deals, so funding that's acquired in order to help startups, to give them seed capital to get going. Some of them in a pre-revenue stage, so before they're generating income, but probably more of them in a post-revenue phase. In South Africa, source of capital in the VC or the venture capital space seems to be quite tricky. Just speaking to these players who are very active, very passionate about what they do. It's an inspiration speaking to them. And it seems as though the bulk of that capital comes from angel investors. So the wealthy South Africans, most of whose names you probably know, quietly giving money towards these venture capital enterprises. And a great deal of that is also directed towards enterprise development, so a focus on job creation and a broad-based black empowerment in South Africa. If you think of a typical deal there, it could range from 1 million to 20 million rand, so the investment that's put into a deal there. That's contrasted with private equity, which typically is further along the phase of growth of a company and also typically could be a larger investment amount. If you think of the big private equity players in South Africa, their capital, their investment into a portfolio company could range between 1 to 2 billion. So that would be at the top end of the scale. So between that, you've got sort of the mid-market players. So typically where private equity would play in South Africa, a great deal of emphasis on growth funding. So it's a company that's already established with a revenue base, a supplier base, a customer base. So the private equity role there would be to come in to bring about efficiencies, governance, improve the supplier base, operational efficiency, so as to help it along that growth path.